Hi and welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how to pass a driving test by driving a full-length test route from a test centre in Birmingham. Now the most important point that I'd like to make to begin with is of course you should never be taught just how to pass a driving test. You should learn to drive properly and safely. If you do that, you will find passing the test is relatively simple. However, it does help a lot if you know about the test. There are people who suffer from nerves. There are people who just hate tests and don't perform well on tests. And this video is designed to help you so you can find out what the test is all about and find out what you're going to do exactly and what the examiner is looking for. Now, an important point that I like to make as well is a lot of people say, well, I only have to pass my test once and that's it. You don't, unfortunately. The bad news is that you're going to be taking your driving test probably several thousand times throughout your lifetime. Now what I mean by this is that, think about it, when you go out on a driving test, you're sitting in the car with an expert driver next to you with dual controls, ready to stop you if you have an accident or if you're about to cause an accident. When you pass the driving test, that's when the real test begins. The driving test itself is quite fake because, as I say, you've got someone there sitting next to you helping you. I always say to my pupils, what's going to happen if you get something wrong on a driving test? And they say, oh, well, I'll fail. And I say, yeah. I say, okay, what's going to happen if you get something wrong when you're out driving on your own? And they say, oh, well, I suppose I'll crash, won't I? This is the point you need to understand. Passing the driving test is actually the easiest part of the whole process. When you pass your driving test, you'll then have to pass it again every single time you ever drive. Because if you don't, you'll be crashing and having accidents. Anyway, let's get driving now. I'm going to start driving this test route, and as I say, it's a full-length, real test route from a centre in Birmingham. If you do your test from the Kings Heath test centre, you might get this route. But again, don't try and learn the routes, it doesn't help. If you're driving around just trying to memorise routes, you won't do it because there's so many of them. And of course that can change anyway. No route is ever the same twice. If you drove the same route 3 times in a row, you'd have different traffic. You might have horses on the road, you might have different weather, you might have an accident in front of you, you might have to go around and take a diversion. Anyway, so let's get going. So, you notice where I am now, I'm on the wrong side of the road. You often start on the wrong side of the road if you do your test from this centre in Kings Heath in Birmingham. But on this situation, the examiners would help you and they'll tell you what's coming from ahead. Maybe not here because the view is actually quite good, but normally they would if there's any danger of you not being able to see. So I'm checking around. What's the examiner going to look for at this point, do you think? What are they looking that I do? Because you'll notice at this point the examiner will be staring over at me. So I'm going down into 1. What must I do now before I move? Big thing people forget because they're panicking on the test. They just move off and they've forgot the blind spot. So you must do the mirrors, but which blind spot do you do? Normally that one, but in this case we'll be the left one. You notice in my right blind spot there's a bike, so it actually worked out well there that I was doing that well. And this kid's giving some kind of weird sign on his bike. What the hell's he doing? Anyway, yeah, that by the way is illegal because that bike had an L plate on. If you're a learner, you are not allowed to have passengers on the back, so that is completely illegal. His passenger also didn't even have a helmet on. Anyway, let's get moving. So I'm checking my mirrors, checking my blind spot. Can I go when this car's passed? I'll indicate because this man with the dogs could be crossing, probably not, but could. And off I go. Okay, so I check my mirrors and we turn right into the road. Mirrors and signal. This video is largely about what the examiners are looking for. Again, it's not really a how to drive video. It's not about press the clutch up and do the brake up. It's not really about that. It's specifically, what the examiner is looking for on the driving test. So at the moment, I'm coming towards a parked car. What will the examiner be looking for me to do now? Yeah, what I just did there, look in the mirror. You will notice on driving tests, the examiners will often stare at you. Now the reason they're staring at you, they kind of look like that and stare straight at you. The reason they're doing that is they want to see if you're checking your mirrors. I mean, it's not really that hard to guess that, is it? In this situation, for example, I'm checking my mirrors. Is it safe to come back in? Yeah. the examiner will be looking at me now thinking, am I checking my mirrors? If I don't check the mirrors, of course that's a major problem. Imagine if I had that bike coming past from behind there, that one that moved up before, the one who had the rider without the helmet on. That bike could have tried to overtake me there, and if I don't see it, I'm going to knock him off and kill him. And yes, you could say, oh well, they shouldn't do that. That's not the point, is it? You don't want to knock them off and kill them. Now in a moment, I'm going to pull up on the left, and the examiner will be saying to me, can you pull up on the left just behind the blue car towards the end of the road? Now the reason you do this is what you call an angled start. I already did it at the beginning, but from the right side of the road. So I'm going to pull in just before this car, actually not the blue one, so I did the black one. And on this occasion, disregard the driveways. And I will say to you on this occasion, disregard the driveways. So you pull up about a car's length back, about there. The examiner will now ask you to move away. This is something a lot of instructors forget to tell pupils about, and people think, what's going on, why am I being asked to pull up? The people now start worrying that they're doing something wrong. Now some examiners, most of them will say to you at this point, don't worry, this is all just part of the test. Of course, driving at the pavement there. They'll say it's just part of the test. And what we're doing on several occasions. But some examiners don't speak much at all. And people think, what's going on? Why did he ask me to pull over? And they think I'm doing something wrong, and they're not. Roundabout right, third exit. So I've done my mirrors, I've signalled. I'm going to hold back for the red one. The examiner now is looking that I don't miss a chance. So can I go? Yes, off I go. If I hadn't taken that chance, it would have been bad. Mirrors, signal, off I go. Check the mirrors again, just entered the new road. That red car on the right could be backing off, now he's not. One problem you often have when you do these videos, by the way, is I simply can't talk quick enough. So I might often start to say something and you think, well, that's already changed. That's just the way driving is. For example now, looking ahead, what could happen on this road? What's the next big danger that me and the examiner will be thinking about? There you go, that lorry, so I'm braking. Now I know this might sound really obvious, but I've seen things like that happen many times, where people simply haven't. They haven't seen it and they haven't give way. And I know you might think, oh well, that's obvious. When you're on a driving test, you just wait and see. It suddenly changes, and this is why I'm making this video. Yes, you should learn to drive safely and properly, but when you go on a test, what can happen is all that just goes out the window. You get in the car, and even if you're a great driver normally, you just can't remember anything. How do I turn the car on? How do I move off? And you get all this panic in your head. So yeah, that's what this video is all about, to show you what a test route is like, and to make you understand that it's not as bad as people always make out. So I'm following the road ahead now. The car behind is getting a bit too close. This car's been getting close for quite a while now, so I'm keeping my eye on them. I'm going to take the next road on the left, so I'll check my middle mirror, and I'll check my left mirror again, and I'll signal now, braking early, coming out to 2. Notice here I'm not going to hang on the corner for too long. I'll go around the corner, and I would accelerate away if it weren't for the lorry. So mirrors, braking. That car's going to turn, so I'll let them go. That there, the examiner would have been looking for me to do those things. Saying no, I'm not going to go. I'm going to pause, let this clear, and I'll go now. That's what examiners will be looking for, though, is the anticipation. I always say to people, because it's true, most of driving is not actually a physical skill. I'm going to pull up on the left just here. The examiner will now ask you to pull over here. A lot of driving, I'd say about 90% of driving is mental, not physical. Whenever people say they're good drivers, you get these people who say, oh, I'm a great driver, and you say, why? And say, well, I can go really fast. Right, anyone can make a car go fast. If I move off now, you know, I could teach a 10-year-old kid how to make a car go fast. If I accelerate like that, 2, accelerate 3, that's easy, anyone can do that. That's not being a good driver. Being a good driver is about thinking, the thought process, planning, anticipation, like not going out on your bike without a helmet on. That's pretty stupid. So I'm going to pull up again on the left, and the examiner will say, pull up somewhere safe or convenient. So where will that be? Yep, just here. Safe and convenient, or convenient, means not blocking the driveway, I know the ones on the right are slightly blocked, but I'm not blocking them completely. That one on the left there, for example, if I block that, that would be bad. Anyway, so I'm going to move off again now. The examiner will say continue to drive when it's safe to do so. No signal, because that car's got no one behind, no one would see. You would normally now pull up and do a reverse around the corner there. I'm not going to do that just because you wouldn't learn much from me doing that. I am doing some other videos this year showing you how to do manoeuvres and things like that. So I'll show you that then, but I'm not going to bother with the manoeuvre just for now. We're now going to take the next road on the right. So you're going to examine the scene. Am I checking my mirrors? Yep. When am I going to signal? Now, is that girl going to walk over? Probably not. Am I going to cut the corner? These are all the things that the examiner's thinking. And at the end of this road, we're going to turn right again. So I'm thinking now, the examiner's thinking, is anything going to come in for the end of the road? If I just go like that, now fast accelerate, no good, because I'm not anticipating. Again, anticipation is one of the main things when you drive. So I'm checking, applying the handbrake because I'm not going to go just yet, and now I'll go. If you've watched my other videos, you know I often talk about not using a handbrake. For example here, the wrong thing to do completely would be to stop like that, handbrake on, gas, clutch. You probably just been mild down there because you took too long. There was no need to do that at all, and without any reason I just put the handbrake on. Why did I do that? There was no one there. I could have easily carried on. That was undue hesitation. There's no need for me to be doing that. We're now going to do the independent part of the driving. So the directions the examiner will give me, and if you don't know, independent driving is when the examiner, I'm just going to get a diagram, the examiner will pull you over and they'll give you a diagram to follow. The one that I'll show you now, this is not the one I'm going to do, but that there is the kind of diagram that you'll be given. So on this one it'll be roundabout left, roundabout right, roundabout right. You'll be given 3 or 4 directions. You'll never be given more than 4, but about 3 is the average. Let's put this back in there. And then you'll just be expected to drive those directions. If you do forget, you can ask them, it doesn't matter. So on this one, the examiner will say to me, can you follow these directions please? End of the road, right. First road on the left. End of that road, left. You then repeat them. They'll normally say, can you repeat that to me? And you just say end of the road right, first left, end of the road left. If you get it wrong, they'll say it again. But again, I've said this many times before, I'm not going to indicate because no one's around. If you do signal like that, it doesn't matter, it doesn't make any difference. The marking of the test, you can if you choose to. And I've got an Easter fate on the cans. So yeah, that's what you do. So I'm going to keep quiet now for this part of the video. I'll be quiet for about 3 or 4 minutes maybe, and just see if you can follow those directions. One last time, end of the road, right, first road on the left, end of that road, left. See if you can follow that. What it's like on a driving test, it's mainly done in silence. Some examiners do talk quite a bit, but some don't, so it depends who you get. But I'll keep quiet now till the end of the independent driving. Sometimes as you're doing this, they will ask you questions like, there are 2 questions they'll nearly always ask you, and I'll tell you what those are in a moment. What was the first direction? Yep, end of the road, right. If you forget, ask, but the examiner will say, I will only give you the directions again if it's safe for me to do so. So if you say no, which way do we go? They won't speak, or they'll just say, do what you think is correct. Because at that point, I'd already stood it right, I'd already got in the position to turn right. You can't change your mind. Even if you think, oh no, he said turn left, and what was the next direction? Yep, next left. Even if you think, oh no, the examiner told me to turn left and I've just gone right, it doesn't matter, it's no problem at all. They'll just pull you over and you'll either turn around or you'll just go a different way, it doesn't matter. You noticed when I turned there, what was I doing slightly wrong? Did you notice me doing it? Well, I wasn't looking in the left mirror as much as I could. I did look in it, but I didn't sort of look in it that much. So that would be a fault there. What's the examiner thinking on this road now? Well, he's thinking, how's the people seeing the speed? Because I'm only doing about 30. But why am I only doing 30 and what is the speed? If you saw back there, the speed is actually national speed limit. So for a car and a single carriageway, the national speed limit is 60 miles an hour. There's no way I can do 60 down here and look at the view. I could pick up a little bit and the examiner's thinking, oh yeah, you've seen the speed. If you don't feel it's safe to do the speed, you don't have to. You can always say to the examiner, yeah, I know it's national down here, but it's not safe to do it. And that's fine. In fact, that's better than not saying a thing. Because the examiner now knows, okay, you know, he knows it's national and they're being careful. I could pick up a little bit now, but not too much. The two questions that the examiner will ask you, by the way, is normally to say, what would you normally be doing at this time of day? So in other words, what do you do for a living or whatever. And the other one, they often ask you, are you going on holiday this year or something like that? They try and ask you to put you at ease. There's always a lot of chickens around here, not there today unfortunately, there's loads of chickens walking over the road here. What was the last direction? Yep, end of the road left. You can't miss that, look with the bright day glow signs there. Okay, and then now that's the end of that, the examiner say pull up on the left just by the grass verge. So again, I don't need to indicate there's no one around at all. The day I record this, by the way, is Good Friday, so it's very quiet on the roads, well, around Birmingham, because everyone goes out from Birmingham. Second part of independent driving now. The examiner will say to me, end of the road left, second right, crossroads left. So you repeat that, and off you go. Yet again, no signal needed because no one's there. Doesn't matter if you do signal, if you don't. Shows you good your awareness because you're checking all around and there's no one around at all. What does that blank triangle mean? It does tell you underneath the giveaway. The only time you should ever get an upside down triangle is when the end of the road is coming up quite soon. There was one not far from me that was wrong, they actually put the sign up the wrong way, but they've corrected it now. So I'm checking, off I go. So that was the end of the road left. What's the speed on this road? 60 again, national, 60 for a car. How would you know that? Yeah, there are no lampposts. If there were lampposts, and this is the second right, if there were lampposts around, then they would have a sign on every third or fourth or fifth lamppost, something like that, just telling me what the speed was. What's the speed on this road? Same again, yeah, no lampposts, still national. I can't do national, but I'm going to speed up a little bit. Now I am aware it's Easter weekend, so there may be more things out like horses, horse riders. So I can't see too well, but yeah, it's quite good, so off we go. When you can't see, you slow down. When you can see, you speed up. So I still can't see. I must be able to stop on the road that I can see is clear ahead of me. So I can't see, now I can see, off I go. Picking up quick. You will in a moment get slow signs on the floor. You don't have to always slow down when it's slow on the floor, because remember, the paint doesn't know how fast you're going. So if I'm already doing a good speed like this, and it says slow, you don't have to slow down, because I'm only doing 36, 37, something like that. The speedo on the left is there, by the way, in the windscreen as ever. That's only a rough guide, it doesn't match what my speedo says, so that isn't that accurate. and I'm doing about 37 now, that's 35, 33, so it jumps around quite a bit. So slow again. I will slow down on this occasion, but you don't have to just because it says slow. And off I go again. Of course, it's all relative, but when you get this sign saying, you know, road narrow, slow down, if you're already doing a good speed, you don't have to slow down because you already have slowed down. So what does that sign mean, the upside down triangle? Yep, that's it says stop underneath. It normally means give way because there are more giveaways around here that stops, but this one is a stop. Coming down to 30, you notice that the examiner's thinking, have I seen this sign? Have I seen the stop sign? What must you do on a stop sign by law? Yep, stop dead, wait. Do you have to put a handbrake on? No, you don't have to, as long as you stop dead. I'm going to roll. Notice how much I was looking there, left, right. And the examiner would now say, that's the end of independent driving. They're now looking at me again. Why is the examiner looking at me? They're going to see if I'm going to check my mirrors. Why would I need to check the mirrors there? Because the speech has gone up, so anyone could be behind me. So I'm going towards the end of the road. How good's the view on this road? Not great, is it? So I'm covering the brake. I'm still covering the brake. The car's accelerating, but I am covering the brake but not pressing it. Ready to brake, ready to brake. Braking a little bit now. Checking my mirrors. Off I go again. So like I say, driving is all about awareness. If you're aware of what's around you, that is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing. The view's good now, so I can speed up, off I go. And by doing this, the examiners will think, yeah, this driver knows what they're doing. If I'm going like this, braking, it's not necessarily bad, but I had the person pass the other day. His name was Nick, so well done Nick, he passed with one minor fault, and that is really good. One minor, that is exceptional. And yeah, the one thing the examiner said, and I've heard this over and over again, the examiner said, if I'm going to pull up on the left somewhere safe here, the examiner would ask me to. The examiner said to these people, really nice, positive driving, because I was there in the back of the car when he passed his test. The examiners want to see positive driving, not messing about, being all slow and, you know, scared and shy. You can't be like that when you drive. You've got to be positive and get on with it. So looking ahead now, this is almost at the end of the test. Again, I don't need to indicate, there's no one around at all. So I'll go. And what's coming up in a moment, especially if you learn with me around here, you might have already seen this, you should have if you're doing a test. But what's coming up? Yep, a slip road. So I'm checking my mirrors. I'm in third, which is fine for now because this car can handle that. Some cars can't, this one can. Round the bend, accelerating, checking my mirrors. Very quick blind spot check, signal, still not around at all, but I like to signal to show that I'm definitely going to join. Just in case you missed anyone, I'll lose a bike way back about half a mile behind. If he'd have been there and I'd missed him, the signal would just warn him what I'm about to do. Roundabout ahead, second exit towards Birmingham. Trying not to get distracted by the cows, as I mentioned earlier on. Sorry, that girl wasn't a cow, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so braking down to third, braking down to 2. Can I go? Yes, left lane because it's the most appropriate. Again, I will be doing videos on these roundabouts soon. Checking the mirrors, signal, off I go. The examiner's thinking, are they going to go? Yes, I am. I'm not going to hold back, I'm not going to be all timid. I'm going to get out and do it. I'll keep quiet on this road because it's really loud, so you won't hear much on the camera. But I'm just going to drive to the end and then go right. Third exit on the roundabout. So I'm doing 70 now, again that speedo says 66, 64, whatever now, but I am doing 70. Can I overtake these cars? Is it worth it? There's a three-wheeler there, little old Robin Reliant kind of three-wheeler thing. I might have to get around now, but they are going quite fast actually. So, do I need to overtake? Do I really need to? But that car in front's getting too close. So I'd say yes, so I'm getting ready to. They're going to go around. I'm ready to overtake, but I'm going to make my own decision. I'm not going to go just because they did. They might be speeding. Do I really have to overtake that vehicle? Not really, so I'm going to hold back. Yes, I could overtake it, but what's the point? I'll be pushing and pushing and pushing, and I'm not going to really get anywhere because the roundabout's coming up quite soon. So you don't have to always overtake, and that's perfectly fine. There's no one behind me for a long way, so I'm not slowing anyone down by myself, so that's fine. So the roundabout, again, I'll go right third exit. I'll keep going so forward, the right third exit. So I'm going to check my mirrors. I know there's no one in my blind spot because I've been monitoring it the whole way down the road, and there's absolutely no one behind it all. If I want, I could look in the mirror. Leaning like that opens up your blind spot so you can see in the mirror. So no one there, signal, let it flash, over I go. I would always signal on this road because if you have missed someone, it's covered, you're covered. You might hear the horn go off, you know someone's there. If I don't signal, smash. So right mirror signal, braking, leave the gear light, doesn't matter. The examiner wants looking for this kind of order. Braking, clutch, steering, and the examiner's thinking now the gear. Yep, now I do the gear. Gear comes last, steer then gear. On this occasion that is. Can I go? Yes, off I go. Checking, make good progress, around I go. So it's checking the mirrors as I go around. Coming off on this one, signalling early, checking, is there a jam? Yep, so I'm braking, signal comes off, brake, clutch, leave the gear till last, doesn't matter. But you don't need the gear till you're going to go. I'm not going to go, so I just brake. One, checking the mirrors, and off I go. No point in me doing the handbrake there because I was going to roll almost straight away. So you might be surprised to know that that is the end of the test. And a lot of people are surprised by how quick the test goes. I mean, that was about, I don't know, half an hour. That is a real test route. That's the one I had the other day. And that is what it's like. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to end the video here. I'm just going to pull over on the left. And then, after you've done this, the examiner will now give you the result. And they would say, switch the engine off and just give me a few minutes to complete my report. You turn the engine off. The examiner completes his report. And they'll look at you and say, I'm pleased to say that you've passed. And they'll ask if they can see both parts of your licence. You give them your licence, you sign a form, and then they'll send you the full licence in the post. So, you've just passed your driving test. Well done. Oh, there's a lovely little cat walking over the road. Is that supposed to be good luck or bad luck if a black cat walks in front? Well, must be good luck because I've just passed my test.